Hi, and welcome to Team Anaphylaxis, our first audio file. We hope that you enjoy today's series. We're going to be talking to two guests, also team members of Team Anaphylaxis. My name is Jody Homer. I'm the host and founder of Team Anaphylaxis. For those of you who don't know about Team Anaphylaxis, we are an education and an advocacy team revolutionizing the way people perceive and understand anaphylaxis. The team is comprised of a group of select individuals who are strong advocates and educators across the world who manage anaphylaxis as a medical disability on a daily basis, who know how to treat an anaphylactic reaction, and we are dedicated to teaching others how to save lives. The team focuses on making a difference by increasing awareness about anaphylaxis, teaching increased safety skills regarding this life-threatening medical disability, and working toward improving the fair treatment and inclusion for those diagnosed. The team is not a group of medical experts, rather moms generally interested in sharing our expert knowledge based on our personal experiences. Please always consult a physician for medical advice pertaining to your particular situation. So I'd like to start off with our first audio file to talk to a couple guests, again, team members of Anaphylaxis. I'll introduce them in a moment, Amelia and Erica. And the topic for today is, when did you first find out your child has food allergies? When did you first find out? What was the signs, symptoms? When did you suspect it? Did you witness anaphylaxis, and what was that like? And we're hoping through hearing a few stories that will encourage you to think back to the time when your child was first diagnosed and some of the feelings that were elicited from that reaction. So I feel that it's important that we process those feelings, we talk about them, and with this audio file, we sort of give a voice to some of those feelings and concerns. Oftentimes, we don't have time to read a book, attend a training, webinar, or conference, so this is a modern and realistic and genuine approach to giving a voice to some of these issues. So, welcome today to our first guest, Amelia, and please tell us a little bit about yourself. Oh, it's starting to record now. Okay, so first I want to introduce our first guest, who is Amelia, and I just want you to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and where you live and what you do, and then we'll move on to our second guest. And when we're done introducing ourselves, we're going to talk about our first topic, which is on what is the first, some of the first things you noticed in your child when you suspected that they might have a food allergy, if you've ever witnessed anaphylaxis in your child, and then what that was like. And what we're trying to do with this audio file for our listeners is to give them a sense, give them a voice to some of the feelings that they might have experienced, which is different than reading a book on it, reading a guide, a series of books on different things regarding food allergies, or listening to seminars, webinars, or going to a conference. This is what I thought was more of a modern way to approach our busy parents of today, and just give them something that they can listen to, and hopefully that will provide some support for them. So today we're going to introduce our first guest. Again, it's Amelia. So can you tell us your name and what state you're in and what you do?
My name is Amelia Murphy. I am an attorney in Mississippi, and I also am the founder and leader of FACE-IT, Food Allergy Support, which FACE-IT is an acronym for Food Allergic Children in Tupelo, Food Allergic Children's Education in Tupelo.
Okay, and then what are the ages or age of a child or children that you have with food allergies?
My 3-year-old son has life-threatening food allergies and is allergic to eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, sweet potatoes, and strawberries.
Okay, and I'm going to introduce our second guest, who's Erica. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you live and the organization that you run?
Yes, hi, I'm Erica Anders. I live in Indiana. My organization is Michiana Food Allergy and Anaphylaxis, and we are in South Bend, Indiana. I have a 6-year-old who is anaphylactic to peanuts and tree nuts, and he has environmental allergies as well, along with asthma. And he was diagnosed at a year-old.
Okay, so were you finished, Eric? I didn't want to cut you off.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then I had mentioned at the beginning of this audio file that I am the founder of Team Anaphylaxis. I didn't mention that I founded the Spokane Food Allergy Support Network in 2009. Amelia and I both sit on the Fan Support Group Advisory Council. I am a certified PAC consultant through ELL, and I also work as a vice president of sales and marketing for Allerbling. So I just wanted to give that, get that information out there so people know sort of the lens through which I'm looking through when I am asking questions, and then as we create these topics for audio files. So if anyone ever has a topic of interest they'd like to hear us talk about, you can email those to teamanaphylaxis@yahoo.com, and you can always go on to our Facebook page, Team Anaphylaxis, and post your ideas on there. So first I want to start out and ask with Amelia, if you can recall the first time you had a suspicion that your child may have a food allergy, and just tell us a little bit about that initial reaction. It could have possibly been, like for my son, the first reaction was his anaphylactic reaction. So can you talk a little bit about that and some of the feelings that went along with that?
Well, Robert was a little different. I never suspected that he had a food allergy until it was suggested to us by the pediatric gastroenterologist that we saw at the Children's Hospital in Memphis. Robert was a section baby and came out spitting up. He had severe reflux. Our pediatrician here suggested that was due to the fact that he was a section baby and didn't have to pressure the birth canal to get all of the stuff out of his lungs, and we went through every possible reflux med out there and every combination of reflux meds, even to the point that he was taking Reglan, which I wasn't very happy about. But we tried it anyway, and finally I demanded that he refer us to the Children's Hospital. And it was when we saw the pediatric gastroenterologist at about 4.5 months that he took one look at Robert and said, with his severe eczema and failure to thrive and the fact that he was projectile vomiting after nursing, that he suspected food allergies and suspected that he was getting trace amounts of food protein through my breast milk. And so it took us about a month to get into the allergist, and at that time I was still exclusively nursing, so I had to avoid the top 8 allergens. And Robert's skin scratch test or prick test, the wheel from his egg allergy was so large that they couldn't read the other results. So we had to send off RAS, and that's when we came back with our list of 5 of the top 8, which would be the egg, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, and shellfish. And we kind of added the others from there, seeing that he breaks out in hives. His first real anaphylactic reaction did not occur until it'll be a year ago next month.
Okay.
Well after his diagnosis.
And that happened, was he with you or was he at school?
He was at day school. Luckily, he is in a church day school, entirely church-run, church-funded day school. So, of course, some of the things that we will discuss in these topics later on, 504, ADA, don't necessarily apply to the church day school because they are church-supported, church-run, church-funded, completely under church control. But luckily, one of the church members who was on the day school committee has a child that is anaphylactic to peanuts. So it was already considered a peanut-free school. But when I came in, I started doing fan safe school trainings with them. And just in the last 2 years, because there's such a high rate of turnover in the staff there, I believe I had done, prior to his reaction, I believe I had already done 3 or 4 safety schools. in that one-day school, and luckily I did one on Tuesday, and his reaction was on Thursday. And so they were prepared. They injected him with epi, immediately called 911 like they were supposed to, and then called me, and it was a very good outcome. They were very prepared and very well trained.
Okay, so going back to what you started saying, your diagnosis was more of a journey to find out from the beginning of when he was born to his final diagnosis. So can you talk a little bit about that, the frustration in trying to figure out what was happening to your baby? You know, it's hard when you expect to have your baby, bring them home, everything's happy and cute, and the outcome is you actually have a projectile vomiting baby and you don't know what's wrong. So can you talk a little bit about the feelings about not knowing what to do when our job as moms? I think we always want to feel like we can help, and in this case you can't really help them because you don't know exactly what's wrong.
So I had absolutely no clue what was going on with him. And I was very frustrated with the doctors because it just kept changing his meds. And I had asked several times to be referred to Labonner, which is the children's hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, and wasn't getting anywhere with the doctor. And then it was, we have to try this medicine, we have to try this medicine, we have to do barium swallow, we have to do all these things. Which luckily, I can say now that our pediatric clinic here has changed their protocol in dealing with children like that. After Robert, my niece has been the same way, and luckily she has not had to progress beyond the medicines and does not show any other signs now that I know what to look for of a food allergy. The scariest part for me with Robert was he was diagnosed with failure to thrive. And not only was he not gaining weight, he actually began to lose weight, which I know is something that a lot of mothers and parents with children with food allergies see. Our children are oftentimes on the smaller end, at least on the weight growth chart. We're hanging on the bottom rungs most of the time. But when Robert wasn't anywhere even near on the chart, I was terrified, especially as a nursing mother, because you begin to wonder, am I not producing enough milk? Is there something wrong with my milk? What's going on?
Mother guilt. Yeah. Sorry, I was saying mother guilt already is kicking in. We have.
Oh, yeah.
That it's something we're doing wrong, definitely, that's causing these reactions, you know.
Exactly.
But,
and then when I had to restrict my diet, limiting the top 8, of course, I was not given any information on how to read a label. Being from the South, capital of mayonnaise and everything fried and battered and egg batter, it was very hard for me to find something that I could eat during that period of time when I had to go on the elimination diet, to the point where it really did begin to affect my milk supply then, and we did end up having to put him on elemental formula, which he is still on today.
And I'm hoping to talk to you about some of that in future audio files about the cost of special foods and special dietary needs. So that's definitely, I've heard, a big expense, and some families can't afford that particular item that they need, so that can be difficult too. So, and then can you talk a little bit about when you got the phone call from the school or from the day school about your child and what that was like?
Absolute horror. I had what we call in the South a tunnel part. I was at work preparing for a trial, which was set for the next day, and got the call and started crying, of course, immediately, and realized I had to get it together. All of this took place in what felt like probably 20 minutes, but in reality it was probably 20 seconds. Turned to my law partner and said, "See you, bye," grabbed my keys,